What is the AI industry going to look like in 1 year for both marketing professionals? But if you have any hot takes on the world at large, I'd love to hear them as well.
I'll tell you what it looked like a year ago,
Yeah.
and then we'll like go from there. A year ago on Valentine's Day, Jasper held our first generative AI conference
I remember.
ever in the
Right.
world. Gen AI, remember that?
Right.
We were like this tiny little startup company that had this crazy weird idea that like in 60 days from now, let's have this conference. And we had 1,000 or 1,200 people show up in San Francisco for this Gen AI conference. And people are like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Like we've been talking about Gen AI. We don't know what it means, but like to see everybody in one place where everybody's talking about AI and knows about it and like actually has a perspective, that was only 1 year ago.
Right.
Like, I'll tell you, my time at Siebel seems like it was closer than that event was. Like, you know, just how much we've gone through in the last year, and now we're here. You know, in fact, like everybody's like, that's the most amazing event. Like, let's do it again next year. And we're like, well, I kind of think by next year it won't be that big of a thing. Like, there will be many conferences, and it won't actually have the impact. So let's not even do it. So I think a year from now, I think people will be talking less about AI and more just about the technology, and the technology will have some AI in there. It'll have some, you know, it'll just be sort of like just part of the underlying fabric as opposed to a thing. I think we'll see a lot of these companies that got funded on a deck because they had some idea and some angle for AI. I think a lot of those companies will probably start to disappear if they're not able to get traction with customers and, you know, build real businesses. And so either that they'll have cool tech that'll get sort of sucked into companies like Jasper and, you know, or into the larger incumbents. But I think there'll be a lot less noise in the market. And I think the technology will be much more agent focused, where you just have tasks that need to get done. And either you're telling the system to do it or it's doing it for you, which would be even better. Yeah. And then I do think there will be some like either industry or function specific agents. So like I would love a doctor and like a co-pilot for doctors. When they walk into their appointment, they have this co-pilot that gives them a, you know, idea of, we're not building this, but I hope somebody does, right? That can actually help them with their patients so they're not starting fresh, right? Or somebody comes in the emergency room and there's an AI co-pilot that can help the team there understand who that customer is and have all their information and provide better healthcare or better support. I also think hopefully on mental health and just healthcare in general, like I'm excited for an AI company to build like real true co-pilot, even for people that can't get access to support. That's where I hope AI is in a year from now. It's like focus more on the mission and less about just making money, and people just chasing companies because they think they can sort of build a company and make some money. I hope they're solving like problems they care about.
Well, and I think also a key component to that is that the tools aren't built yet, right? So a lot of the tools weren't built yet, and now we're in a phase now where a lot, you know, at least a lot of the companies have been started, and so once the infrastructure layer has been built, then we can see a lot more application companies that are going to come to the fray and have sales teams built around that. And I think a lot of that stuff is it's so brand new that the tools are just being built. So hopefully we see a lot more of that as you kind of speak to.
Yeah, I feel like 6 months. Like I feel like in the next 6 months there will be that. Like the technology won't be a challenge; it'll be the idea and then the execution.
Right.
That's where I get excited.